Hello and welcome to All Things Manchester. My name is Tom Topping and I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. Today I'm pleased to introduce my guests as the co-authors of a book about Roy the Koi, a fish in Manchester's public water system that became quite a community favorite. The co-authors are someone I went to high school with. Her name is Holly DiBella-McCarthy, and her son, which is her son Joe McCarthy. They wrote the book. And what I'd like to do is start with Holly. Holly, tell me just a little bit about yourself. I haven't really seen you since high school, so go ahead and fill in the many years worth of blanks.
Right. Well, I grew up in Manchester.
That I knew.
Graduated from high school, went on to college, became a social worker, couldn't afford to be a social worker, went to work for the airlines for 3 years, decided I wanted to be in education. So I got my master's degree and my 6-year certificate in education administration. And then I went on to teach, and I was a director of special education for 30 years before I retired.
And now I'd like to introduce your son, Joe. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Currently I own a postcard company, and prior to that I worked running several manufacturing businesses, Silkscreen and a poster company. Before that, I worked in the public arts sector with a lot of 1% for the arts projects, public art projects, stuff like that.
Are you an artist yourself? Did I read that sculpture? Did I?
Yeah, I do some metalwork, some sculpture, photography. Classically trained in film.
And you live in Manchester now, right?
Currently and for the last 5 years,
Okay.
we're living in Manchester.
How did you end up back in Manchester?
It was kind of just by chance, I think. We were, just after COVID, we were looking to relocate for a place to live, and the Cheney Mills popped into my mind. Having driven by them all my life as a kid, I was like, geez, I wonder what it's like to live in there. So we took a tour, and here we are.
Okay. Now, Holly, it's my understanding that you've written several children's books. I'm going to ask you, what motivated you to, I mean, everybody wants to write a book. What motivated you to write a book, and not only books, but children's books?
When I retired from education, I didn't feel I was finished. I didn't feel I was done educating kids. And I have always wanted to educate in a fun way, so learn through fun. And I thought, what better way to continue to do my work with kids than to write children's books. I taught from preschool all the way through college, so I had the whole range of knowledge there. I started with Dilly Duck Plays All Day, which is a rhyming picture book, teaching counting and getting along with friends. And that led to 2 other Dilly Duck books. And then that led to a number of other books for adults, books for kids, and finally to Roy the Koi, the fish who lived forever.
Well, that's probably to me, the most exciting part of this venture is that you're doing it with your son.
Yes.
This is your first collaboration on any books?
On any of my books, yes.
So,
Joe approached me.
Oh, really?
Yes, he came to me with the idea. It was his vision, his idea, and said, Mom, what did you say? Mom,
Well, I think I came to you with the idea for the book after Roy the Koi had passed away and the town had kind of lost him. Because my wife was so impacted by the loss of this fish who lived in the forest. It was amazing. It was almost like she lost a pet or a friend. And I started thinking about the ways we process loss, and I kind of had this concept that I wanted to write a book that I wish that she had been read as a child. And at the time, Mom was coming off of the 3rd Dilly Duck book, which really, that's a whole nother thing, because watching her create these books, take this vision from her mind all the way through the creative process. Like as an artist myself, that's given me like so much joy to watch, and that concept of like, oh, like I'd love to do it with her and kind of make something together. It just seemed like a perfect fit. So I called her and told her the concept for the story, and a year later, here we are.
Manchester's an interesting place. We have a very robust wildlife-loving community, and there's a whole Facebook page actually dedicated to it. And it's much different in Manchester than when we were kids. We have a nesting pair of eagles. I don't know if you know that. They've given us maybe 10 or 12 eaglets over since COVID. They moved in 2020, and in fact, they're right down the street. We also have bears now, these big 500-pound black bears. And Roy just kind of seems to fit into that whole mold of where Manchester has an identity where we relate to animals. Joe, if I'm not mistaken, you know more about the history, who Roy is. I mean, the story behind him. I don't know much about him.
Well, I think Roy has like a mythic quality almost. He's more like, where does the legend begin and the truth kind of end? For us, when we first moved to Manchester, I saw, oh, Porter Reservoir. I remember that place from when I was a kid. Let's go take a walk. And there he was, like the biggest, most orange fish you've ever seen in the middle of the woods, like totally out of place, like, just in the middle of the forest. So my wife hopped on one of the Manchester Facebook groups and was like, does anyone know anything about this fish living in the Porter Reservoir? And it was almost immediately like flooded with comments like, oh, that's Roy. Oh, you just met Roy. Roy the koi. Oh, he's been there forever. So as you kind of like start to poke around and try to figure out where Roy came from, you read things like, oh, he's been there for 6 years. Oh, he's been there for 16 years. Someone once told me, oh, I remember him there when I was a child, and that was a 65-year-old man. So how old is Roy? Like, where did Roy come from? I don't know.
It's Porter Reservoir, and the Porter Reservoir, for those of you who don't know, is a passive recreation area that's very popular with the walking and hiking community in Manchester, and people go out there, they get their exercise, and it's a very beautiful nature trail. Now, back to your book. Did you say that it was you that, Joe, was that the driving force behind the book?
Yeah, I would say the driving force behind the concept of like the overarching, like this is what I want the book to be about. I want to write a book for kids and adults that teaches them like how to process the loss of a pet or a loved one. And I want to do it through the story of this kind of surreal fish that lived in the forest.
So tell us a little bit about the story that you wrote, the book that you wrote, both of you. I don't know, whichever one of you, Holly, I guess we'll go with you first.
Joseph brought me the idea, and along with the idea came about 2,000 words.
It was a small novel.
Now, I don't know how many people know, but typical children's picture books have 500 words or less. And he brought me over 2,000 words and said, Mom, what do you think? So we handed it back and forth over weeks, just trying to get to the essence of what we wanted this book to be about, which essentially we wanted it to be about love, loss, and healing. So the story is told by this gentleman when he was a boy and Roy the koi lived in the pond.
Yep.
And so it's told through his eyes. And yes, there's one little sad part in the book, but it turns happy in the end because we find out that through stories, our loved ones live on. Yeah.
Well, I would imagine that in my own case, my first real experience with death was a pet. Mm-hmm. We lost our dog when I was like 4.
Most of us, right?
Yeah,
most of us. That's our first, like, how death kind of first touches us.
Just all of a sudden, midnight's not here anymore.
Right.
Do you mind if I ask, how do you handle that in the book? I mean, I think the story that I heard is they just walked up and found him floating. That doesn't sound like kids' material. So
We had to be very careful
Yeah,
about that
yeah,
because
yeah.
children, we'd like to think of it as a picture book for all ages, yet it will be read to children very
Yeah,
often
right.
by the adults who love them and want to help them to process losing a pet or a loved one. But
The way we address it is basically that the stories that we tell about the ones that we love are what keep them alive forever. And the timeline of the book actually covers 100 years of time, because you're going back when I was a child, and then you're jumping way into the future, like after I'm gone.
Yep.
And those stories kind of live and swim through that whole timeline.
Does Roy have any, I don't know, for lack of a better term, magic powers? Is it? I mean, I saw the post that you made looking for stories. What kind of response did you get to that? What kind of stories did you hear from the community?
when I posted that, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I received maybe 8 responses. People who remembered Roy, everything from loved Roy, used to feed Roy, to a long paragraph about an experience with Roy. So that was really fun to hear from community, and we would love to hear more stories.
Yeah, the most moving recollection for me actually came from my wife. And what she said was, Roy made the colors at the reservoir brighter, like the woods, the sky. So the fact that there was this little kind of surreal treasure kind of swimming around in the reservoir, for her, just totally shifted how she perceived the whole landscape.
Roy was a friendly fish too. When people approached the reservoir, because that's really what it is, it's my understanding, and mostly from the pictures that I've seen, that he came right up, as close as he could.
He'd swim right up. Sorry to interrupt you. He'd swim right up, and he almost the pattern on his face almost looked like a human face. It's almost like he changed his shape to kind of start mirroring people. He just any person, he'd swim right up and check you out, and if you were someone that you remembered, he'd stick around.
So we took knowledge like that and we turned that knowledge into a magical part of the story. So there's several magical, really written for children, and hopeful scenes. So they're embellished in the story.
Yeah, we use a bit of magical realism.
Yes.
Now, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about your book launch. I think you've done a soft launch, didn't I see that we had a download one day? Mm-hmm. There's a place, Workspace in Manchester. What's the address on Main Street? I forget.
Is it 108 Main Street?
But I'm sorry?
Workspace on Main Street. Yeah.
Workspace on Main Street.
Yeah, Workspace on Main Street, can't miss it. And the date is Friday the 22nd, and it's from 5 to 8. You want to tell us a little bit about what we can expect and I will go to that event, but.
Oh, that's wonderful. We are hoping the event is for the town to remember Roy, celebrate Roy. It's been a year since Roy passed, so a townwide celebration for all the Roy the Koi lovers. In addition to launching our book and reading the book out loud so that people can hear, we'll also have 2 presentations, and the second one at 7 o'clock, we will be talking to people who are interested in possibly writing a children's book, and we will talk about the process from concept to physical book. And then we'll have, we'll have read-alouds, we'll have guest authors. We have 6 guest authors.
I see that, and I'm familiar with some of these names. Do you want to take a minute? We can.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with all of them. Tammy Gerhardt, I'm very familiar with. She does the holiday tree with us in November, and Kimberly, is it Kimberly Hale?
Heel, I think. Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, H-E. Yep. And William. as a Cobb?
Yes, Agascas.
Okay.
Yep,
And then Tammy
yeah.
Pedro Valencia?
Yeah, and all of these people were recommended by Stacy at Workspace because she has worked with them before. They all write children's books.
I see that.
Many of them are illustrators, so they have illustrated their own children's books. So we're really excited to have all of our guest authors. In addition to that, we have gathered stories, children's book stories for the Women's Club of Manchester, who will be there collecting books for their Little Libraries program. There's 9 little libraries in Manchester, so we're happy to donate. I think we're up to well over 20 brand new children's books that we'll be donating just us. So yeah.
Yeah, the Women's Club
Yeah.
does a great job with their. Actually, I'm looking at this. I've actually read 2 of these. I don't know if I should be proud of that or not.
You should.
But Tammy's book, of course, I read.
Of course. Yeah.
And this is good stuff. And are these all local?
They're all Manchester.
All
Manchester
Manchester
residents. Yes.
Manchester has a thriving arts community. We have a cultural district now. The downtown area has been designated as such, and this is exactly the kind of thing that fits with that mindset, because it is a cultural thing. I think it's wonderful that you have the creativity. Do you do your own illustrations, or?
We worked with an illustrator throughout the
Okay.
process, and we collaborated with the illustrator every step of the way. So the illustrations are really what was in Joseph, who was the artist, in his mind. His illustration notes were very detailed.
Yeah, artist, but not that kind of art, unfortunately. Couldn't draw my way out of a fish bowl.
How long did it take you to go from the first discussion to you actually had it finished?
The first discussion with us was,
September.
yeah, it was a year ago. And I think within a month or 2, we were then locked with, okay, we have the words that we want to put in the book. And then it was a discussion between us and the illustrator. That was a longer process. Just finding the right illustrator in the right style at a price point that we could afford, and then determining like the best way to communicate with the illustrator who was in another country, and English was a second language, so there was how to convey our illustration notes back and forth. That was a long process, maybe 4 or 5 months in its own.
Yes, it was a very long process, but he was wonderful to work with. His name is Ram Jeeves, right here. Yeah, and he was just fabulous to work with. We would work with him again. And when we did the soft launch on Amazon, we've received several 5-star reviews, and many of them talk about the illustrations and how wonderful the illustrations are. So the illustrations have touched people.
Now, a book launch, that's like the official start of distribution of the book. How can people order the book? How can they get a hard copy? I'm guessing, because I think I saw the link, for Amazon. Is Amazon?
So we have the print-on-demand copies, paperback on Amazon, and we have digital on Amazon. We have these deluxe hardcover editions on our website, Book Chatter Press, www.bookchatterpress.com. Tom, if I may go back to the event just for a moment.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to mention that really I think the kids will love the event most of all, because we will have a kids table. There will be photo ops with a Roy, a big giant Roy. We'll have bubbles there. And so even though it's a picture book for all ages, I do think that the kids will have a real good time if they come.
So
And that's the best place to buy the book.
Yes,
Right.
we'll be
we'll be
autographing.
there.
We'll be
I was gonna
autographing the
ask that.
books.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure whether that was like a serious question or not.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I think this is a big deal. I really congratulate both of you for doing something that every single one of us wants to do, deep down inside, wants to write a book, or at least a story about our lives,
Yeah.
and or something to get our message out. And I think it's wonderful that you've done it with success. I'm very, very. It's wonderful to see someone that I knew when we were teenagers and awkward and just becoming humans blossom into this incredibly successful, venture.
Thank you.
It's a risk. And you made it. I think that's amazing. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And then there's no charge to get into the book launch.
No charge. So the book launch, we'll be having the presentations, the kids' activities. After we read the books, we'll be signing books for people. They can also purchase on Amazon at a later date. They can purchase from the website if they want to order an autographed, personalized copy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, will they be putting? I saw that you showed me actually the foreword you dedicated. You might want to talk a little bit about that. But the Manchester Public Libraries are gonna. Do they have any of your books already?
We invited the Manchester Public Libraries, and we're hoping they come, and we're hoping they accept a gift of Roy the Koi, because this is a book to share with all of Manchester. So, yeah.
Well, I'll
We'd
be
like
doing
to
a
share
show with
that.
them in the coming weeks.
Oh,
I was
I
going to
will,
say
I
that.
will.
Before the
new library
22nd?
doesn't- It doesn't
No,
even have
but-
walls yet. So.
I know.
I think it might be the 26th. So.
Yeah.
But I will. I'll talk to Steve and see if we can get you in there, because I think the least they can do is support you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they would be thrilled to have our book. This book is dedicated to the town of Manchester.
Yep.
We're co-authors, so we each got to choose who we wanted to dedicate to. I chose the town of Manchester because the story is based on a real story in Manchester.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
grew up in Manchester. I have a lot of fond memories. So my dedication reads, "For the town of Manchester, Connecticut, where I first discovered the magic tucked between the library stacks. May this story reflect a glimmer of the spirit, warmth, and hope you gave me."
Now, you told me, because I didn't remember knowing you before
Yeah.
high school, we had talked a little bit about where we went to elementary school. You're from the Robertson neighborhood, which is Whiten Memorial.
Yes.
So that's not even the main library. That's like a satellite branch. And that's where you did most of your...
I was able to walk there by myself.
Yeah.
Years later, I remember tutoring adults who could not read there. So I spent a lot of time in Whiten Memorial Library. I also loved the one on Main Street, though,
Oh,
because
yeah.
what a gorgeous building, and just felt so rich being in there. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of excitement now because we do have a new library coming to Manchester. And they're going to have more room for more books. And I think, I like the idea of we should support local, just like for farmers and all that.
Absolutely.
Is there, what would, if someone said to you, what's the book about in 2 or 3 sentences? Holly, what would you say? I'll come to you next, Joe, with the same question.
All right.
I would say it's a picture book written for all ages, for children and for the adults who love them. And it's a book about loss and healing.
And Joe, how would you describe it in just 2 or 3 sentences?
Sure. I guess I would say that the book, at its core, is about storytelling, myth-making, and love.
It's funny you should say love, because Roy was he was single his whole life,
Yeah.
from what we could tell.
From all that we know.
He was loved by many people,
Oh yeah,
though.
oh yeah, you can tell just by the Facebook stuff.
Yeah.
That when he didn't show up for sometimes weeks at a time, there was,
Concern.
everything short of a police investigation in town. When did you first? Was it through your wife? Did you tell me that you?
That I first encountered
introduced
Roy?
to
Yeah,
Roy?
yeah. It was through my wife about 5 or 6 years ago now.
And is she a Manchester native?
No, she's not. We moved here together, and when she spotted him while walking in the woods.
That's interesting.
And then took some investigation to kind of determine where he was coming from, or if he was even real.
Let me take one last look at this. See, fun for the whole family, snacks, giveaway, photo ops. Is there going to be? You said there was going to be a Roy the Koi actual, I'm guessing stuffed type animal.
Yes.
Is there going to be more than one, or is that going to be a thing?
Well, there will be an area where children can pose with Roy.
Okay.
So we'll have a couple Roys floating around for children to pose with. if
Okay,
they
I
like, yeah.
was thinking more of like, are you actually going to sell Roy the Koi fish stuffed animals?
Not at this event. Maybe in the future.
Okay, it
but
just-
yeah, we will be. The guest authors will be selling their books and
Yep,
autographing
yep.
their books. We'll be talking about Roy the Koi and hopefully selling that book. And all of my books actually will be there. I have 7 for kids and 4 for adults, so they'll all be there for people to take a look at. And yeah, happy you're coming.
At what age would you think a child could read this book by themselves and sort of understand it?
I think age 4 is probably
Really?
a good age, not to read themselves, but to listen to.
Okay.
Most picture books for kids are books that adults or older kids read to them.
Yes.
Yes, they're not beginner readers.
Right.
Remember,
Okay.
Jane saw dog
Yeah,
run
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
They're not like that.
The man
They're
in the Panama hat.
right. There are some sophisticated. There's some. Yeah. There's sophisticated language in here, but not too sophisticated where a 4-year-old and up couldn't understand and take things away that will help them to learn how to cope with loss.
Well, I think I'll be there at your book launch, and I wish you the best. Is there anything in closing you'd like to say to our audience?
No, just to come out to the book launch August 22nd at Workspace on Main Street, 5 to 8 p.m. We're excited to kind of introduce the book to the town.
Is it possible to pre-order the book beforehand?
Yes, on my website.
Okay.
Yep,
You can go ahead and-
bookchatterpress.com.
Okay.
Yes,
That's Chatter Press. That's your.
Book Chatter Press. Yes.
So you do the publishing too?
Yes, yes. Indie authors do it all, from concept to marketing.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, yeah.
So self-publishing is a thing with children's
yeah.
authors.
hmm It's gaining more popularity. Actually, there are more self-published children's books than from publishers
Okay.
out now. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I see on advertisers all the time, have you thought about writing a book, or have you written your manuscript? Send it to us, we'll clean it up and help you get it published.
Those are hybrid publishing companies. Yeah.
But you do your own. That's actually
After
very
the first
wonderful.
one. The first one was published, and then I learned from that one, and then I felt able to do it myself.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I got a little bit of goosebumps just talking about Roy and learning a little bit. It was very nice to see you again after all these years. It's nice to meet
It's
your son.
fantastic to meet you.
You're a nice young man. I wish you the best of success with your book, and I will see you on the 22nd at Workspace, downtown Manchester, for your book launch from 5 to 8 p.m. Bring the whole family.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
My name's Tom Topping. Thank you for watching this week's edition of All Things Manchester.